Hi, Abe.
Hello, how are you? You ready for Shabbos?
Okay.
You ready for
Yes,
Shabbat? You look
I
like it.
think so. I think so. And
You
you?
going to, is there an early minyan?
Yes, I want to go to the early meeting.
Uh-huh.
If not, I'll fall asleep on the other one.
So tomorrow you're meeting at the Young Israel Hancock Park.
Yes. You
At
wanna
what time?
come? You wanna
At what
come?
time? Well, I'm on the other side of town this Shabbat.
It's I think at 5:30. I think.
5:30. Okay. Okay.
Let me check with Johnny. Johnny,
Hello.
Yeah.
at what time is it tomorrow at Young Israel?
5:30 they put down.
Oh,
5:30.
okay. All right.
Okay.
I think that's what we said, 5:30.
Hi,
All right.
Okay.
I
Harold, I'll
thought
call
so,
you
but
afterwards.
I wanted to confirm. Okay.
Okay. Harold,
Yeah.
I'll call you after the daf.
Okay.
Okay.
To discuss the Daf?
If you want to go, if you want to, yeah.
Okay. Why not?
uh,
Yeah. Today I had to drive from Santa Monica back home in the afternoon. Oh my
Yeah.
God! It's hell. It's hell. Friday afternoon. Huh.
Everybody's coming back for Shabbos.
Yeah. Okay. If you say so. Whoa. I can imagine doing that every day. I guess people do.
Yes.
people, oh my gosh.
What?
Sharon Nachimson was nifter.
Oh no. Brooklyn.
Who?
Sharon
Who?
Nachimson.
Oh, she passed away, Brooklyn.
La Posa, Johnny La Posa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me this morning that she only had hours.
Oh my God.
In the house?
No, she was in
Yeah.
Oh, she was in like a
some kind of
respiratory
yeah.
hospital. No, I know, she was in the
Oh,
respiratory.
no.
There's no information yet on the Shiva,
Well, the viral.
Levi and Shiva.
Oh, Brooklyn, MS. Oh.
That's sad.
It's sad, very.
She has four kids, 5 kids?
I have one daughter, at least 3 boys that I know of. So
I see her. Yeah, there's a daughter and 3 boys. Yeah.
Daniel Heyman had a baby girl, a baby boy.
Yes. Yeah.
You know that
Oh,
he
he's a
has
boy or a girl? He has
a
six.
boy. He has 8 kids now.
Yeah.
Who's that?
7
Who's that?
boys and 1 girl.
Oh, 7 boys and 1 girl. Daniel Heyman. 7. He has 8 kids.
You can imagine he's young guy. They're so young.
I'm gonna buy him a television.
Buy him something. Buy him, I don't know what.
Buy him a cigar.
So you guys are not going to help it.
Yeah, I think so. Irony.
All right. So we're on Tesvav, Amid Beis on the bottom. Boy Minei Shmuel Mirav. You have a Goslin who stole a field. And then he goes ahead and rebuys it from the original owner. So like to make himself, because normally the original owner can go and collect the field from whoever the Goslin sold it to.
Where's your purse?
So here the Goslin goes to the original owners and buys it from them. So he wants to stand in the owner's place and get his field back. Chazer v'lakol mibadim rishonim ma'u. Omer lei, ma machar lo rishon l'sheni kol schus shetov liyadu. That which the Goslin sold to the one who bought it from him. So he sold all the rights in that field. So he's already part of it. My time at Marzo Drummond, Nichale de lo Nikre Gazlona. He has the right to go to the original owners and pay for the field, because he doesn't want the guy who bought the field from him to call him a goslin. He's embarrassed. He wants to be known as a trustworthy person. And that word doesn't go out that he's selling things that don't belong to him. The Gemara wants to know what's the difference between those two svaras. For example, the person who bought the field from him died. If the reason that he's allowed to buy it back from the original owners is because he doesn't want people to call him a gazlan, I'm misled. The guy who bought it from him died. So there's no embarrassment anymore. And that can't be the reason that he went ahead and bought it back again. But Manda Omer that he wants to remain trustworthy, it's important that the children of the lokech should treat him as a trustworthy person. So Sof Korle B'nei Lokech Gazlana. If the original owners come and take away the field from them, even though the father who bought it is dead, they're still going to call the guy a gazlan. So there must be a different svara. The gazlan himself died. If the reason we allow him to repurchase the field because he doesn't want to be called a gazlan, it's not relevant anymore. He died. But the sons want to have him have a good reputation. But still, so people will say if the field is taken away by the original owners, even after the guy's death, they're going to say, "Oh, these are the sons of the gazlan." The gazlan didn't sell it to another person; he gave it. The field that he stole, he gave as a matan. He wants to remain as a trustworthy person. So even with a matana, he wants to be known of as an honest person. But according to the svar that he's given the right to purchase it back because he doesn't want people to call him a gazlan, I'm like, I was never a gazlan. I gave it to you a matana. You didn't pay any money. Okay. So pshita im zavna, the gazlan steals a field and sells it, or urta, or dies and gives it over to Yerusha to his children, or yavav matana, or he gives that field that he stole as a gift. Lav leukme kamelokech kaboy. If the one who gets the field has some kind of complaint, he's going to complain to the one who gave it to him. But the field stays in the possession of the guy who he gave it to. And similarly, Yerusha, if the gazlan got it by Yerusha, Yerusha memelehi. Yerusha comes to him without any work. And therefore, when he sells it, there's no giving over to the seller any kind of zechuyos. And if that buyer has the field taken away from him, he's going to go to the one who gave it to him and get and get recompensed. Gabi iu b'chovo. If this gazlan has the field because he collected it in payment of a debt, chazina, we see iyislachei arach risa, v'amrai ba'ina. if the owner of the field that the Gazlan sold the field to has other land, he somehow wanted to give this piece of land to this buyer. The ilo, if the buyer doesn't have any other land, Zuzi Udaboy Afrui. He's not trying to uproot the kinyan of the lokech, he just wants money back. And if the original owner of the land had given it as a gift to the Gazlan, Pligi Beravach Ravina, Chadamar Matona Kirusha. A gift is like Yerusha. He doesn't have to work for it. It comes automatically. B'chadamar Matona is Kamecher. The ilav the torch v'artzi kamela v'yoel matona. If he was not of service to the person who gave him the gift, he wouldn't have been given the gift. And that's why later on he wants to have a good reputation as an honest person. Now, ad emes nechale deleka bemenusa. What period of time does a person want to remain as an honest person? Until Bezdin takes the field away from the guy who bought it. Because the original owners came. And now that buyer is going to come to the Gazlan to get paid back. After this Amod Bedin, the Gazlan is not concerned about his good name. Because the action in court already demonstrated that the Gazlan is not an honest person. But Chibarav Amar, Adamada Drakti Liode. Bezdin has to produce a star that the Gazlan was adjudicated. And this star is given over to Lokech that he can go and take from the assets of the Gazlan wherever they are. It's up until that time. And Rav Papa ad Demaslin Yomi Achrasta, there are certain days that they auction off his assets in order to pay back the Lokech. So it's until all that is finished. Maskif la Rami Barcham. Rami Barcham asked the following question. That sometimes the Gazlan will try to do certain things like find the original owners and buy the field from him in order so that the guy who bought the field from him thinks he's still an honest person. So, we're trying to figure out, the Gazlan stole a field, the Gazlan sold it to a lokeach, but my koni lahai ara. How was this kinyan effected? Bahai Shtara? Because they wrote a Shtar Mechira that the Gazlan gave him? Hai Shtar Chas B'Valmo, it's not worth the paper that it's written on. You can't sell something that doesn't belong to you. So there was no sale. And what do you mean you're trying to keep the Lokech with his Zechuyos? He has no Zechuyos, argues the Gemara, because he really never acquired it. Let's explain this sheet of Rab. The buyer told the Gazlan, I believe you, that you're going to do everything correctly. The Lokech relied on the reputation of the Mocher. And he didn't do a big investigation. Is it his? Is it not his? So that value creates the kinyan. Mosif Rav Sheshes. If a person says to his friend, Masha Irish me Abba, that which I'm going to in the future inherit from my father, Mochrlo, I'm going to sell that to you. He doesn't have it in his possession now. I have these nets in the lake that my nets are going to catch fish. That which is going to come up into my nets, I'm going to sell you. Lord Merklum. You can't be matnas something to your friend that doesn't exist right now. But if you say it, what I'm going to inherit today from my father, I'm going to sell to you. What's going to come into my nets today, I'm going to sell to you. Dvarv kayomin. So the asset that the stolen land there's nothing to base the purchase on because it's all in the future. It's a very strong kasha on Rav, but Rav is a great man, but I don't see the kasha. When the Gazlan sells a piece of land to a lokeach, he relied on him. A Yerusha, you don't know for sure you're going to get a Yerusha. We already said that there's a svara that the Gazlan is going to make it good. Why is he going to he's trying to find out the original Bailim, pay them off, because he doesn't want to be known as a Gazlan. By a Yerusha, he doesn't know for sure when he's going to be Yerush, and therefore the kinyan doesn't work. This kasha was related to Rav Abba. It's not a very hard kasha. It doesn't need to go inside the yeshiva to be discussed. But Rava Amar Zut Tzrich Lifnim v'Leflai Lifnim. It's a very good kasha. Because Hacha Sam Chadaita, Hacha Lo Sam Chadaita, we have a teretz. In the Mecher, the two parties have come to an agreement. Here by a Yorish, he doesn't know for sure he's going to be Yorish. A story like this happened in Pupadisa, and they asked this kasha. Amar Rav Yosef, this doesn't need the yeshiva, it's not a hard kasha. But it's a good kasha, but it has a good resolution. Now, we brought a baraisa to discuss doing a kinyan on something that doesn't exist in the world anymore, or yet. Maishna Reisha, Maishna Sefer. Something that is going to come today, even though it's l'chora not here yet, that works. Something that's going to come in the future doesn't work. I mean, it's the same thing. Even if you say today, but you don't have it yet, why should that kinyan work? Am Rav Yochanan, Seifa, Masha'irish Maba Hayom, Mishum Kovidovi. His father's on his deathbed. He's giving honor to his father. And he's really trying to borrow money to prepare the funeral. So he's doing this kinyan with a complete heart. And similarly, when he says, Mashatalam Mitzudasi Ayom, Mishum K'dei Chayo, he needs immediate parnasa because he's catching fish today. So Chachamim say it works because they want him to get bread today. So it's like an economic takon. So this kinyan on a right for something in the future, Amar Gunam Arav, this field that I'm about to buy, when I buy it, I'm being magnet to you from now. It's kana. That works. Amar Rav Mistaver Milsa de Rav V'Sad is Stam. That kind of gift, it's a regular, just a general field, not a specific field. Aval B'Sad is Zu. If he points out to a specific field, low. Why? Because who says that specific means if he says, I'm going to buy a field today, and when I buy it, I'm giving it to you as a gift, that works. But if you say, I'm going to buy that field, so that doesn't work because who says that owner is going to sell it to him? And that's too far. Davar shelo bala oil. Break the Gemara of Elohim. Amar Rav afilu b'sad zu. Rav said it works even when you say, I'm going to buy that field. So Michte Rav Keman Amr L'Shvaitza. Who's Rav going to? Like Rav Meir. Sha'amar Adam Makda Davar Shelo Bala Olam. We have a famous machlokas, throughout Shas, Chachamim versus Rav Meir. Rav Meir says you can be coin of something that doesn't exist yet. The Tanya. Ha'omer Le'isha is Kachli La'achar Shizgaya. A goy says to a woman, be miskadish to me after I convert to Judaism. Or a Jew says to a shiksa, be miskadish to me after you convert. Or be miskadish to me, I'm in Eved Kanani now, but I'm going to be freed. Or you're a Shifcha Kananis now, be miskadish to me after you're freed. Or you say to a married woman, be miskadish to me, la'achar shiyamus balech. Be miskadish to me now, or no, la'achar shiyamus, be miskadish to me after your husband dies. Or la'achar shiyatzlacha yivamech. Or after your brother-in-law gives you a chlitza. Now, you're not allowed to marry if your wife has a sister, you can't marry the sister. But let's say you're married to this woman's sister, you can marry her if the wife dies. Now, in all these cases, there's no chalois kiddushin right now because they're all unavailable right now. Eina mekudeshes. Even later on, the Tanai is mekuyim, there's no kiddushin. Rab Meir oimer mekudeshes. Even though right now, it's not, there's no chalois, but you can be marked as something that doesn't exist yet.
But she could be an Eishetish, some of the cases.
In all the cases, in the case where we said...
No, Magaya is not, the case seemed to be all similar, but Magaya is not Eishetish.
No, but in the case of Eishetish, it also works according to Rav Meir. The Kiddushin is not Chal until
afterwards. That's according to Rav Meir, but so then why do they bring all the same cases? In other words, it seems like it's all the same case. They brought us 10 different cases, all seem to be the same case. What does the Gemara have to bring you?
They're not exact. They're not exact, like you pointed out. The case of the Baal, she's not an Eishetish. She's an Agoyata. So it's the same thing because you can't give Kiddushin to a Goyata.
Yeah, but an Eved and all the same.
These are all cases where right now there's no Chalos and Kiddushin.
Yeah, but I just want to know, in other words, if they brought one case or two cases with no Chalot, you would know if there's no Chalot, the Kiddushin is afterwards.
Maybe when we learn the Sugya in Kiddushin, it gave us a chiddush for each case. The Gemara is bringing this paraisa to show us the basic machlokas between Rav Meir and the Chachamim. It could be there in the Sugya. They ask your question, why do we need all these cases? And there's a chiddush to each case. Could very well be that exists. But we see the idea. Chachamim say, since right now there's no Gemar Kiddushin, then you can't do a kinyan on something in the future. Rav Meir says it can work. It does work. And the Ha'isha, he saw the Zudamya. It's a specific woman. And even saw Rav Meir Mekudeshes. And Rav holds like him, that an Adam is Maknadav Shalabala Olam, even when it's a specific thing, which is much more unlikely. It means it's much,
I don't
if a
think
person says, I'm gonna buy a field today, and whatever field I buy, I'm gonna give to you. So there we said it works. And then there was a machlokes, but if he says, I'm gonna buy that field and give it to you, it doesn't work. Why? Because we had a svara. Who says that he's gonna be able to buy that field? The guy, the seller doesn't want to sell it to him.
Yeah.
But Rav Meir says even when you say sodazu, because it's similar to the case of Ishazu.
but it's very strange. I mean, we don't paskin like that. And you don't.
Let's see what the Shulchan Aruch says.
We see what he says.
You say to a woman, now I'm a goy, but be miskadish to me after I convert. We hold like the Chachamim in this machlokas.
Right.
Exactly.
You can't do it. It's that you can't coin it davar shelo ba lo ela.
Rav Meir says you can, but we don't.
I understand, but
we
I'm
don't
just
paskin
saying.
like Rav Meir.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm paskin like it.
Exactly. Amr Shmuel. Hamotzi shtar hakno bashuk. A shtar hakno was a shtar that documents a sale, but it's got koyach that there's already a shibud from right now. Remember, by a regular shtar mechira, there's a suffix. Maybe it wasn't funded. The date of this loan, and you find it in the street, and it's dated January 1, and now you found it in November. We don't know. Maybe it wasn't funded until September. So then there's a problem with, can you take fields away from people who bought fields from the borrower, and can you have a lien on that, and you can go get that land, you can claim, well, the lien only exists when it's funded. But a shtar hakna, you mamish, the guy's on the hook already from the date of the shtar. That's a shtar hakna. And Shmuel says if you find a shtar in the street, you can give the shtar back to the owner. Who's the owner? We give it back to the malveh, to the lender. Remember, the lender holds on to a shtar that says Chaim Yankel owes me $1,000. When Chaim Yankel comes to pay back the $1,000, the malveh gives the shtar to the borrower, and the borrower usually rips it up into shreds so that nobody will ever find such a shtar. But if an intact shtar is found, Shmuel says you give it back to the malveh. We assume that it's not that the loveh paid it off, didn't tear it up, kept it in his pocket and lost it. That's too far-fetched. Why would a loveh do that? Too risky. So we say, if you find such a dark, you can give it back. We assume it's not repaid if it hasn't been paid, and the malveh can go and collect payment on it. That's what Shmuel is saying. The mishum shekosov lilvos, because v'lo lava, if we're worried about this dated 6 months earlier before it was funded, hashibit nafshe, we explained, a shtar hakna, there's already a personal obligation by the loveh the moment the date is signed. Mishum piron. Now, what are you concerned? That the borrower paid it back? Loy chayshin le piron. That's not, we're not choishish for that. Because the misa de pare makre have a karile. If the borrower had paid it back, he would have torn it up into shreds. The fact that it's not torn up and it's still intact must mean that it hasn't been paid back. That's how Shmuel learns. I'm Rav Nachman. Abba min Sifri daini de Marshmuelai. Abba from Sifri was the judge in the basin of Marshmuel. Davina Kvarshisa Kvarsheva. I remember I was 6 or 7 years old. With the kind of Davamachrazi Viamri, I remember when they made an announcement. Hani Shtari Aknisa, this star Akna, the Mishtaki Beshuka that was found in the market, Nadrina Marayu should be returned to the owner, like Shmuel. So Rav Nachman relates a story that follows the halacha that Shmuel is quoted here. Amar Rav Amar Afanami Tamim. And Rav Amram brings a baraisa. Any document comes out of Beis Din would produce documents. They would put a certification on a star. They would produce staros that allows you to collect assets from somebody that owes you money. That's called a Maisa Beis Din. Every Maisa Beis Din Yachzir, you can return it to whoever the document belongs to. Means if it's a collection star, you give it back to Chaim Yankel, who's allowed to use that star to collect from the guy who owes him money. Al Maloch Heshinah Lepiron. If you return every Maisa Beis Din, obviously we're not worried that there's going to be double payment here, that the guy who owes the money has already paid. Why do we say that? Because usually these documents are destroyed after payment.
And do we paskin like that?
Hang on, we're not here by paskin. Remember, some of this has to do with a very fundamental machloikas of whether koisvin shoiver or ein koisvin shoiver. In some communities, they would write a receipt. It wasn't important necessarily that you tore up the star, because when it was paid back, they wrote a receipt, and the borrower holds on to the receipt, paid. So you don't necessarily have. So the halacha that we're going to quote it depends on whether koisvin shoiver or ein koisvin shoiver. If you live in a community of ein koisvin shoiver, this would follow this, because if you don't write a receipt, what should you do with a star when you pay it off? You've got to tear it up, right? Otherwise, you have to be concerned. If you lose that star and somebody finds it, they're going to return it to the original lender. He's going to demand a second repayment. So Rav Amram brought a baraisa that kol ma'aseh beis din yachzer al malach heshin lepiro. So Amalei Rav Zera, you know what? That baraisa is not a proof to our question about a loan star, whether you should return it or not. Ki matnisen b'shtarei chal tov adrachta delavnei pironin. Those are documents produced by Beis Din that there's no payment about. Beis Din gives it to a man that says that the piece of land is owned by him because Beis Din did some kind of act of purchase on his behalf. So there's no payment. That's not a payment doc. So there's no proof just because over there we say that should be returned. That's not a kind of star where there's a worry maybe there's been a repayment. Amar lo Rava. What do you mean? These Beis Din documents do require payment. Shuma is a financial appraisal that Beis Din goes in, appraises how much assets a person has, and they force him to sell to pay his debts. And such a document can be returned until 12 years. And the person is obligated to pay. In fact, such a document is returned forever. So what do you? So now we're back to the same kasha. You know why you return a Maisa Beis Din to Amri? The borrower damaged himself to be in the paria. If he actually repaid the loan, he should have torn it up. Or write another document to say it was paid. The Medina Ara lo boy lemeheder. And the reason why you have to write such a thing, because to make him pay karka, we shouldn't make him give that back. Mishum vasisa yashavatov b'nei Hashem. Huda amar rabbanon ta'ader. The Chachamim said, return it just to be a good guy. Hilchach l'reishu dekosavim. Just like he bought something in the beginning, he boiled a lemichtav stars vini. You should have written a document documenting the mechira. If somebody gave him back a piece of land. But regarding a document, the documents alone, im isa depori boiled mikrish Torah. If he paid back the loan, he should have torn it up. So the Gemara says that's not a raya. Maybe the guy is playing a delay game. The Amarle, Lamacher Yavin Allah, the Hashtalesika boy. The Malva says, today I don't have the shtar, I'll give you the shtar tomorrow. So there's no necessarily raya that the Lova had the opportunity to tear it up. Or Inami Avshiti the suffers Ayerle. Somebody has to pay the soifer for writing the shtar. And maybe he's holding back the shtar, the Malva, until the Lova pays him back what he paid to have the shtar written. So it is a possibility that the shtar was paid and the Lova is not to blame. But the sugi is not over, so I don't have a psak for you yet. That's coming. Amar v'amar Rav Yechla, because we're still in the sugya. Moitzi shtar chov b'shuk. Person finds a document that documents a loan in the market. Aval b'shakazav bohenpik lo yachzir l'baylim. And there's a Bezdin certification on it that says we checked out the ADM and they're correct. We don't return it. Certainly, we don't return it if there's no handpick. For example, a borrower might have written the shtar and really didn't borrow the money. He just had it ready to go. But even if Bezdin had written a certification, my niyu, the mekuyim, that the shtar was certified in Bezdin, lo yachzir, why? The chayshinan lepiron. Again, if we're finding the shtar extant, it's intact, it must be that it wasn't paid back. If it was paid back, the lover would have destroyed it. Eitzvir of Yomi Ravavo. What about Kol Ma'aser Bezdin Arei Yachzir? What about, we quoted a Baraisa that says everything Bezdin comes out of Hempik is a Ma'aser Bezdin, you say you can return it. Amar lo, Yomi Abri lo Kol Ma'aser Bezdin Shavim. Not every document that comes out of Bezdin is the same. What kind should you return? Elikagon shehulzik, kafrin. For example, let's say the borrower was not someone who's believed, and he's not believed to say I paid it. So maybe then we return it to the owner of the shtar. But if he's not a hulzik kafrin, we would not return it. What do you mean? The guy once is established as he told a falsehood regarding that I paid it back. Once, now he's never going to pay back again? It's going to be for the rest of his life? Choshed? L'chora, Rava doesn't like that svara. So, El Amar Rava, you know what? When you said that a Ma'aser Bezdin L'olam Yachzir, that's Bishtar Chal Tov Adrach, like we said before, shtaros that don't demand repayment, which we said like a document that documents that he's the owner of a piece of land. And Adrachta is a shtar shenois l'adam slus ligvois choyve mikol chayev. K'div Rav Zeira, because there's no chashash that they would be paid. Now this din of a kafrin, the kafrin, oil v'asli yodin name of Milsa. Now that you brought it up, we're gonna say Dvar Halacha in it. We'll hold this until tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow, 5:30 in shul, correct, Johnny?
that-
Yes, correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
correct, because they said so also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll see everybody 5:30.
Shabbos, everybody.
Okay,
Abe,
good Shabbos.
Abe, if you learn by yourself, we're gonna do one blot.
So I'm on the other side of town. So I'll join
Now
you.
Abe, now you have a reason to move, to either get a Shabbos place or to move closer to us. No,
Okay,
just learn one blot, because I'm only gonna do one blot.
yeah, okay, we'll see you
And
there.
then we'll, of course, we're gonna learn Sunday night. Sunday night, we're gonna learn at 7:30, and then we have the Tzorba at 8 o'clock. I'm sorry. We have the Navi Shir at 8 o'clock.
What's the Shabbos you're talking about?